Have you ever noticed something small in a loved one, a slight change, a tiny detail, and later realized it was their body trying to tell you something? The truth is, when a senior's health starts to decline, the signs are almost always there. But they don't shout, they whisper. Today, I want to share with you 10 silent warnings that a senior's health may be slipping, signs so subtle that most families miss them until it's too late. I share this not to cause fear, but to open our eyes, to give you the chance to notice, to help, to love a little deeper while there is still time. Because the greatest gift you can give someone is your attention, your understanding, and your care. Let's begin. The first silent warning is unexplained weight loss. When my old friend Harold started losing weight, it wasn't drastic at first. His belt got a little looser. His shirts hung a little differently. He joked about it. Said he must be finally getting in shape. But underneath, his body was struggling. Weight loss can mean many things: trouble eating, depression, even serious illness. If you notice it, don't brush it off. Gently ask questions. Offer support, help them seek answers. The second silent warning is withdrawal from activities. Harold used to love playing cards at the community center every Thursday. Then one week he skipped, then another. Then he stopped going altogether. When someone pulls away from hobbies they once loved, it's often a sign of deeper trouble: physical pain, fatigue, depression, or even cognitive decline. If they stop doing what once brought them joy, it's time to check in. The third silent warning is subtle confusion. It started small with Harold, misplacing keys, forgetting appointments, telling the same story twice in an hour. At first, we all laughed it off. Senior moments, we said, but confusion, even slight, deserves attention. It could signal early dementia, it could point to medication side effects, it could even hint at an infection. Confusion is never just aging. It's a clue. The fourth silent warning is change in personal hygiene. Harold always took pride in his appearance, shoes polished, hair combed. But then one day, he showed up with unshaven stubble and an untucked shirt. When seniors begin to neglect grooming, it's rarely about laziness. It often signals depression, cognitive decline, or physical difficulties. Respectfully, lovingly ask what's going on. The fifth silent warning is changes in sleep patterns, sleeping all day, pacing at night, calling you at odd hours. Sleep changes are windows into deeper struggles: anxiety, pain, fear, or confusion. When you see these shifts, it's a sign that something under the surface needs attention. If these early signs resonate with you, if you believe in walking gently and wisely alongside those we love, please like this video and subscribe. Your support helps grow this circle of hope, knowledge, and care. Now let's keep going. The sixth silent warning is sudden mood swings. Harold was once steady as a rock, but suddenly he grew short-tempered, sad without reason, anxious over little things. When mood swings appear without cause, they often point to physical health problems, not bad behavior. A chemical imbalance, a stroke warning, even a urinary tract infection in seniors can cause dramatic mood changes. Don't judge, don't scold. Observe, support. The seventh silent warning is changes in appetite. Harold loved Sunday breakfasts, eggs, bacon, pancakes. Then he just picked at his plate, said he wasn't hungry. A fading appetite can be a symptom of everything from depression to digestive issues to cancer. It's a flag, one that deserves gentle attention. The eighth silent warning is difficulty managing money. Harold was always sharp with numbers, but then bills piled up. Strange charges showed up on his bank statements. Managing money is complex. It requires memory, judgment, focus. When those skills slip, it's not just carelessness. It's often a warning of cognitive decline. If you notice missed payments, unopened mail, or unusual purchases, lean in with compassion. The ninth silent warning is loss of interest in meals. Meals used to be celebrations. Now they're chores. When someone stops caring about food, not just appetite, but the pleasure of eating, it often signals depression, dental issues, or internal illness. Share meals with them. Notice, ask, and the 10th silent warning is subtle changes in walking or balance. Maybe they hold onto furniture when crossing a room. Maybe they hesitate at doorways. Maybe they walk a little slower, a little stiffer. Falls are one of the greatest dangers to seniors. Even tiny changes in balance or gait are warnings. Notice them early. Talk about them early. You could prevent not just one fall, but a whole cascade of struggles that often follow. If you're still with me, thank you. You're showing the greatest act of love, paying attention. Please comment below if any of these silent signs reminded you of someone you care about. Share your story. Your voice could help someone else feel less alone. And if you haven't yet, like this video and subscribe. Together, we can learn, support, and walk this journey with more wisdom and more heart. Ahead, I want to share stories, real moments when noticing these signs made all the difference. Because sometimes, the smallest act of noticing can change a whole life. I remember the day I first realized something was wrong with Harold. It wasn't anything dramatic. It wasn't an ambulance at midnight or a sudden collapse. It was the way he struggled to tie his shoes. Harold had always been quick and nimble, even with his stiff old fingers. But that morning he sat longer than usual, fumbling with the laces, sighing heavily. It was such a small thing, so easy to ignore, but it was a warning, a sign that his body was asking for help. The hardest thing about these silent warnings is that they come wrapped in normal life. You have to slow down, you have to watch closely, you have to listen with more than your ears. When we finally brought Harold to the doctor, the news wasn't good. Early Parkinson's, they said, a long, slow decline ahead. But because we caught it early, Harold had time to adapt, time to plan, time to live with dignity for many more years. That's why noticing matters. It's not about fear, it's about love. And love, my friend, always pays attention. I want to tell you another story about a woman named Edna. Edna was a neighbor of mine, full of laughter and fierce opinions. One day I noticed she wasn't sweeping her porch like she used to. The dust and leaves gathered, her flowers wilted. She stayed inside more. People said, "Oh, she's just getting older." But I knew better. When someone stops caring about the little things they once loved, it's not just aging. It's a whisper from their heart saying, something isn't right. Turns out, Edna was struggling with heart failure. The chores she once loved exhausted her. She couldn't catch her breath. Because someone noticed, she got the help she needed. She lived another 5 years, filling those years with front porch chats, sweet tea, and stories that made us all laugh until we cried. Noticing saved her. Now you might be wondering, what can you do if you notice these silent signs? You don't need a medical degree. You don't need to fix everything yourself. You just need to do 3 things. First, speak up. Gently, kindly, privately. "Hey, I noticed you seem a little tired lately. How are you feeling? I miss seeing you at our Thursday games. Everything okay?" Open the door to conversation. Second, offer support, not judgment. Don't criticize, don't shame. Say, "I'm here. Let's figure this out together." Sometimes just knowing someone sees them, cares about them, makes all the difference. Third, help them find help. Offer to go with them to the doctor. Help them set up a home visit. Research local support services. Don't just tell them you need to get checked out. Walk the road with them. It's the walking together that gives people courage. If this message is speaking to your heart, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe. Your presence here builds a community where love and awareness go hand in hand. Let's remember something important. Catching these signs doesn't guarantee a cure. It doesn't mean you can stop every decline, but it does mean you can ease the journey. You can help someone hold onto their independence longer. You can help them stay connected. You can help them feel seen, valued, and loved. And sometimes, just sometimes, you can catch something early enough to turn the whole story around. There's no greater gift. Ahead, I want to share the single most important attitude you need when walking with a loved one through these warning signs. Because what you do matters, but how you do it matters even more. There's one thing I've learned, walking beside friends and family as they aged. Patience is everything. Not the kind of patience that grits its teeth and counts the minutes, but the kind that breathes deeply, the kind that listens with the heart, the kind that stays present even when things get hard. When Harold's memory started to fade, it wasn't easy. He would lose track of conversations. He would ask the same question 3 times. He would get frustrated, not just with others, but with himself. And let me tell you, frustration is contagious. If I got short with him, he would grow anxious. If I stayed calm, he stayed calm. It was like standing beside a mirror. The way we respond matters. The most powerful medicine you can offer isn't always a pill or a procedure. It's your presence, your steadiness, your willingness to meet them exactly where they are without shame, without rushing. Patience says, you are still valuable even in your struggles. Patience says, I'm not going anywhere. Patience says, you are still worthy of respect and dignity. And believe me, they feel it, even when words get tangled, even when memories fade, even when bodies weaken. Love shines through. Now here's something else to remember: flexibility. The path isn't straight, it zigzags, good days and bad days, moments of laughter followed by moments of tears. Harold would have a great morning, sharp as ever, and then by afternoon he would struggle to remember what day it was. At first I fought it, tried to fix it, but fixing wasn't the answer, adapting was. When Harold needed to slow down, we slowed down. When he repeated himself, I listened like it was the first time. When he forgot something important, I reminded him gently without making him feel small. Flexibility is love in action. It says, I will meet you where you are, not where I wish you would be. If these lessons are resonating with you, if you believe in walking this road with patience and grace, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe. Your presence here strengthens this community of understanding and hope. Let me tell you something else. Grief and joy can live side by side. Some days with Harold were hard, but many days were filled with surprising beauty. The way he laughed at old jokes, the way he squeezed my hand when he didn't have words, the way he noticed a bird singing outside the window and smiled like it was the first time he ever heard one. Even as abilities faded, even as strength ebbed, life still sparkled. We just had to slow down enough to see it. The world tells us aging is all loss, all decline, all sadness, but the world is wrong. There is sweetness here. There is tenderness here. There is more life to live, not in spite of the changes, but sometimes because of them. When you walk beside someone who is declining, you are walking holy ground. Honor it, savor it, be humbled by it. Because in the end, it's not about how perfectly you handle things. It's about how well you loved. Stay close, because ahead I want to talk about the simple daily practices that help seniors and their families face these warning signs with courage, with tenderness, and with hope. There's something about small, steady habits that build strength in a life, even as the body weakens. When Harold's health began to decline, it would have been easy to fall into despair for him and for us. But we didn't. Instead, we leaned harder into the small things that made life feel full. We built simple habits, gentle rhythms that gave each day shape and meaning. And you can do the same for the people you love. Here are some of the practices that made all the difference. First, we made a ritual of connection. Every morning I would call Harold, nothing fancy, no big conversations. Good morning, Harold. How did you sleep? That little check-in became an anchor, a lifeline. It reminded him and me that he was not alone. Second, we honored his autonomy. It's tempting when someone begins to struggle to take over. Let me do that. Let me decide that. But dignity matters, so we asked, what would you like? Would you like help with that, or would you rather try yourself? Even small choices, which shirt to wear, what to eat for lunch, kept Harold's spirit alive. Third, we made room for laughter. When Harold forgot a word, we didn't scold or correct. We laughed together. You know, he'd say, the thingamajig for the whatchamacallit. And we'd all laugh and figure it out. Laughter softens hard moments. It reminds everyone that joy is still possible. Fourth, we focused on what he could do. Instead of mourning every lost ability, we celebrated what he still had. He could still tell a good story. He could still sing an old song. He could still love, and that was enough. Fifth, we stayed flexible. Some days were harder than others. Plans had to change, paces had to slow, and that was okay. Rigid expectations only create frustration. Flexibility creates peace. If you believe in honoring life's later chapters with gentleness and joy, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe. Your support keeps this circle of love and learning alive. Sixth, we made space for grief and gratitude. We cried when we needed to. We gave thanks when we could. One didn't cancel out the other. Grief honored what was hard. Gratitude honored what was still beautiful. Both belonged. Seventh, we asked for help. Caregiving can be lonely. We reached out to friends, to support groups, to neighbors. And do you know what we found? People wanted to help. Sometimes all it takes is the courage to say, we could use an extra hand. Eighth, we let go of perfect. There were days we got impatient. There were days Harold got angry. There were days we all felt tired and overwhelmed. And we forgave ourselves. You don't have to be perfect to love well, you just have to keep showing up. Ninth, we celebrated small wins, a good breakfast, a sunny afternoon walk, a shared joke. These small moments were victories. We savored them. 10th, we loved without conditions, not when you're better, not when you're easier to deal with, not when you're your old self again. Just love right now, as you are. Because underneath all the changes, all the struggles, the person you love is still there. Stay close, because ahead I want to share one final story, the moment that changed everything for me. The moment I finally understood what it means to walk someone home with love. There's a memory I carry in my heart, one that I return to on the hardest days. It was a rainy afternoon. Harold was sitting by the window, staring out at the gray sky. I could tell he wasn't feeling strong. His body sagged in the chair. His hands trembled slightly in his lap. I sat down next to him, not saying a word. After a while, he turned to me and said, "I'm not afraid of dying." He said it quietly, almost like he was telling a secret. "What I'm afraid of," he continued, "is being forgotten while I'm still here." That moment hit me harder than any diagnosis ever could. Being forgotten while still alive, that was his greatest fear. And I realized something deep that day. The true work of loving someone in their decline isn't about fixing everything. It's about seeing them, really seeing them, even when they move slower, even when they repeat themselves, even when they grow harder to understand. It's about letting them know with your eyes, your hands, your presence. I see you, I value you, you matter to me still. From that day on, every moment with Harold changed. When he told the same story for the third time, I listened like it was the first. When he needed extra time to find his words, I waited without rushing. When he looked around a room and seemed lost, I touched his hand and anchored him back. It didn't cure him, it didn't stop the decline, but it gave him something even greater, dignity, a sense of belonging, a feeling of being loved fully and fiercely exactly as he was. If this story touches your heart, if you believe in the power of presence and unconditional love, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe. Your support keeps this community alive with truth and tenderness. Now I want to leave you with something practical, because I know how overwhelming it can feel walking beside someone you love who is changing before your eyes. Here are a few simple phrases you can use, phrases that build bridges instead of walls. When they forget something, "That's okay, let's figure it out together." When they're slow to respond, "Take your time, I'm right here." When they seem frustrated, "It's all right, we'll get through this." When they seem scared, "You're not alone. I'm with you." These words are small, but spoken sincerely, they are mighty. They remind your loved one and yourself that love is bigger than memory, bigger than illness, bigger than decline. Love remains. And in the end, it's not the details that matter most. It's the feeling of being cherished, the feeling of being seen, the feeling of being deeply, truly loved. That's what carries us all home. Stay with me, because ahead, I want to close with a reflection, a final reminder of why noticing these silent warnings isn't about loss. It's about honoring life itself. As we near the end of our time together today, I want you to hold on to one truth above all others. Noticing the silent warnings in someone you love isn't about fear. It's about love. Love notices. Love pays attention. Love stays awake, even when the world tells you it's easier to look away. When you notice that your father's appetite has faded, when you see that your mother's balance is just a little less steady, when you hear your grandparent telling the same story twice in one conversation, you are witnessing something sacred. You are being invited into one of the most profound acts a human being can perform: to walk with someone, to stand with someone, to stay with someone not just in their strength but in their vulnerability. This is not a burden. It is a calling. It is a chance to love someone through their final seasons with honor, with gentleness, and with unwavering presence. It's easy to miss these chances, easy to stay busy, easy to get uncomfortable and pull away. But if you stay, if you lean in instead of leaning out, you will become part of a quiet miracle. The miracle of helping another human being feel seen, feel valued, feel loved, not for what they can do, not for who they used to be, but simply because they are still here, still breathing, still deserving of every ounce of dignity and love we can give. If you're still here with me, thank you. You are part of a rare and beautiful community, people who believe that aging is not a tragedy, but a passage. Not something to hide from, but something to honor. Please take a moment to like this video and subscribe if you haven't already. Your support spreads this message wider, helping others walk this sacred road with more strength, more tenderness, and more hope. Before we part, let me leave you with this. One day, each of us will need someone to notice, someone to pay attention when our steps slow, someone to listen patiently when our memories stumble, someone to remind us without words that we are still beloved. Be that someone for others now. And when your time comes, trust that you too will be held in that same tender gaze. Because love, real love, never forgets. It notices, it stays. It carries us home. Until next time, may you walk gently, may you notice bravely, and may you love with all your heart for all your days.